Hello, and thank you for joining me. I'm Chriselle Valenzuela, and today we're going to do some community readings for collective healing. I just need to take a deep breath. So, if you are new, if you are watching live, please drop me a comment. Let me know where you're joining from and say hi. To all the replay watchers, thanks so much for joining. Today I'm going to be doing some mediumship readings, and I'm just going to give it a few moments to let some people join in. While we wait, I'm going to tell a little story. So I offer mentoring, and with some folks for mentoring, I'm teaching them how to work with their intuition, how to have a conscious relationship with their psychic abilities. And I was working with a student, and they were reading for someone, and the student was so scared that they were not going to be able to make a connection, and they were so afraid that they wouldn't be able to deliver. And we were going through the reading, and then I was like, is this how you felt before you started preparing for the reading? And she's like, no, this is not how I felt. And I was like, so you're already connected, because this is not you. What you're feeling, this fear, this doubt, this inability to connect, that's actually the person you're connecting with. And once she got past that, it was much easier for her to start reading the sitter. And I'm bringing up the story because I think there are so many times that we are picking up from other people, and we don't know how to separate ourselves, that we're taking it personal, owning it as our own when it's not ours to own. And I'm guilty. I'm definitely guilty of this. I was meeting with my therapist, and my therapist said, you know, you are so intelligent about these things, but you doubt yourself so much. And she's like, why do you question yourself so much? And when I started talking about it, I was like, I think part of it is I'm just feeling what other people are feeling, and I'm having a hard time separating, and I get caught up in what other people are feeling. And I think we all can identify with that. And so share this as a gentle, loving reminder to take a moment of pause whenever you're feeling really excited or really unlike yourself, when your energy is feeling really off and you start to feel really doubtful and question yourself, to just take a deep breath. Take 3 deep breaths and allowing yourself to move through it, because chances are it's just going to pass through you because it's someone else. And if you feel so inclined, if you feel like you have capacity, maybe even asking the people around you if they're okay and just checking in with them. Because I know for myself, sometimes I get so caught up in the feeling that I don't even check in with myself. So hi, Daphne from Virginia. Hi, Claire, my dear friend. Hi, Suzanne from Boston. I am going to be in Virginia in a few months. So hi. Suzanne is asking, what's the best way to find out names of spirit guides in meditation? And yeah, meditate with your spirit guides, but I wouldn't get caught up on names, because names are trivial to energy, to spirit. I would use that as an opportunity, use meditation as an opportunity to connect with your guides and become familiar with their energy. So getting to know what they feel like emotionally, like what feelings come up when you are with those guides. Getting to know how they're interacting with you. It's a very feely type of relationship and identification, and really leaning into that, because what's in a name? Oh yeah, get on my mailing list because I'm gonna try and set up something while I'm out there because I have a few people that I work with out in Virginia. I'm actually going to Norfolk. We'll be in the Norfolk, Virginia Beach area, if that's anywhere around you. That's usually where I go. I have family out there, so I usually go out there. Okay, so it looks like we're at 5:10. So yeah, join my mailing list if you want to stay up to date on what I'm doing and um, what my schedule is like because I may be in your area. I haven't traveled too much in the last years of COVID, but I'm trying to get out there more. And so I want to make it a point to be able to connect with the community wherever I'm at. So I'll be having more in person events as I travel as well. So Suzanne asked, have many orbs in my apartment, but don't think they're my spirit guides. Um, I'm going to be in DC. I'm going to be stopping by in DC on my way to Virginia. So we're definitely going to have to set something up. So orbs can be anything. Orbs are just light that you're seeing. It could be angels, it could be fairies, it could be loved ones, it could be guides. And so meeting with these orbs in meditation and sending thought to them to connect and communicate with them is going to be really helpful. Awesome. I'm so glad you're getting the email notifications. All right, so let's jump into some readings. So what I'm going to do, what I usually do are emoji readings. And this emoji is like an anchor, an energetic anchor for you. So take a moment to take 3 deep breaths at your own pace. You can close your eyes or you can leave them open. It's totally up to you. Taking a deep breath, I want you, while you're doing this, to think of your question or if there's someone that you're wanting to connect with. And as you think about this intention and you're breathing through it, I want you to visualize a ball of golden light energy at your heart, watching it get bigger, bigger, and bigger, and watching it get so big that it fills up your entire space, and then setting it free to go off to where it serves your highest good, trusting and knowing that it goes exactly where you need it. And then when you're ready, go ahead and drop me an emoji, any emoji of your choice, in the comments, and then I will be reading off of those. And it just occurred to me that I'm not using my mic, so let me know if I am not loud enough. Aisha says, so cute, I just had green hair. Thank you. This is my hair fading. Someone thought that I dyed my hair silver. This was through a video chat, so I don't fault them for not being able to see my proper hair color. And my hair feels really like gross and crispy. I used a different shampoo today just because I was like, I've had this shampoo forever. I need to use it. And even though I use my conditioner, my hair is so like frizzy. And my hair is usually so straight and flat. At first I was like, I love all this body. I love all this texture. And then I was like, wait, I look like I need a brush really, really bad. So I've been tying it back, but I really don't want to keep it in a bun. Okay. Thank you, Claire. I appreciate you. Here we go. Okay, so I'm being pulled to karma first. So let's see. I'm going to call you by the name that I know you by, and I will start your reading. So while I do this, I'm just turning off the comments because it can be a little distracting to me. So don't stop, guys. Keep having a party in there. I have my partner Ira in the background. She'll throw up any validations that you guys share. So as I'm going through this reading, if you have any validations, anything that connects, anything that makes sense, please share them, because people that watch the replay, it'll help them connect with their spirituality and show them that this is actually not too bad. And that's what I really want. I want people to have a good relationship with their spirituality. So let's see here. Okay, so I feel, Aisha, there's family member on dad's side of the family, and it feels like I feel like it's two generations up from dad. So that would be like great grandparents and great grandma, because it's a woman. I feel like, so she's presenting herself as someone very young, but she's also presenting herself as someone that's, I feel like they're very put together. Also feel like they're very stylish. I feel like they have a very fun personality. I see a lot of color. I feel like it's a very put together person, because it's like the outfit silhouette, like how the clothes fit, it's very perfectly fit, and everything goes perfectly styled together in terms of color, in terms of patterns, and then even the hair is like very neatly tied in a top bun with like very straight bangs, and every hair is in its place. And I also feel like that Stepford housewife, like one leg kicking up and one hand to the side kind of thing going on. I also feel like this woman, she looks a lot like you. She looks very much like you. Um, she says that she passed away when she was young, though. So, like, I see her, and it feels like she's a slightly younger version of you. And so it feels like she passed away when maybe she was a little bit younger than you. She does say that the way that she passed was an accident. And if I remember correctly, Aisha, um, do you have a, is there adoption in your family? Like, if you don't mind just sharing, because this I'm curious about, because I asked if she's great grandma, and she says yeah. But then when I ask if she's blood related, okay, yeah, so she says no, that she's not blood related. So this is, I think, through your adopted dad's side of the family. Um, well, that makes sense because you're the one who's adopted. Okay, so that makes sense. Um, okay, let's see here. She says she never knew you, but it feels like she is actually very present in your life. And the way that I see her very present in your life is, first off, she shows herself very close, the way she's interacting with you. It also feels like she brings a lot of like kind of lively, fun, energetic um, presence to your life. It almost feels like a whirlwind, is what it feels like, because I see her, she's moving around you quite a bit. It's like she's hugging you from behind, and then she moves around you, and then she spins you, and then she's looking at you, and she's like making you dance like this. So it actually, I know Aisha, so I know a little bit about her background and her life, and it feels like this is part of what feels so like unstable in your life. Um, and it feels like she takes on a big role in your life, but it doesn't need to be that way. you can actually ask her to tone it down. And setting boundaries with her too. So a lot of times people think that just because their family shows up that it's all good. But sometimes we have to set boundaries with spirits too. And sometimes it's not necessarily setting boundaries, but it's letting them know what your comfort level is, which is a boundary. But if boundary sounds too restrictive or alienating, then you could look at it as, just being very specific about how you want to experience it and tailoring the experience to your comfort level. A lot of her energy actually feels like she brings a lot of like a feeling of love and comfort into your life. I feel like you do notice her because she shows, I see a lot of interaction with her, but it feels like, uh, it feels like you see her. Like I do see a lot of this interaction, and you are welcoming it, embracing the affection. Um, and so that tells me that you are aware of her presence, but also feels like almost like you peek and you know it's her. It's like you almost get a glimpse of her. And then am also feeling this presence from grandma from mom's side. This woman feels like a very, she feels like an older woman, but she feels like a very full figured woman, like a bigger woman. Not, she just seems very tall. She almost reminds, like her build almost reminds me of Medea. But she is, um, I see her with her hair pulled back. So it feels like she's also very strict. So it feels like she's very strict, like she's very tall. She's got like a bulky build. I see her wearing like all purple. So it's almost like this maxi, this like shirt and skirt combo. Um, that's this very rich, dark purple color. It also feels like she kind of steps in and she tries to balance out the energy of grandma on dad's side. Um, and that she's the more stern one. They feel like polar opposites. Oh, um, they feel like polar opposite energies. Like the first person that shows up is very energetic, very lively, whereas this other woman, she seems very grounded, very stern, very disciplined. And it's almost like they fight over who gets to spend time with you because they are so different. And it could be very confusing for you because it's like flipping on and off a switch, switching, moving between these two people. Let's see here. And actually, so I mentioned it looks like it can feel very confusing for you, but I see that it actually impacts you very deeply emotionally because I see you, they show me you crying, and it looks like you're sitting on the floor and you're crying, maybe even like hunched over on the ground crying. And it's this feeling of like almost feels like you're being ferried between two different people or shuttled between two different people, having to split your time. And then it's this feeling of wondering where you belong, and wondering why no one wants you almost. Um, when it's actually quite the opposite. Like they both really, really want you, but they don't know how to act in balance together. They don't know how to share you. So it's coming back to setting boundaries and being very explicit about how you want to experience this. So instead of them fighting over you, it should be you setting the boundaries. Yes, yes, there you go. And speak it out loud. So setting the boundaries so that you are being very explicit about what you want to experience, so what you want to have more of. Um, and what they are showing me, so this actually comes from your higher self. So this is coming from your higher self. It's like I see you hiking through like a really dry, hot trail, and it's going up. But this is what I see whenever it feels like people need to ground with nature. So it feels like grounding with nature, allowing yourself to be by yourself, allowing you to be by yourself is going to help you really get to know, really get to connect with what feels better for you. So it's that time alone that's going to help you decide and commit to what is it that you want, and then being very explicit with these family members of who you want to spend time with. I feel like you have to do some sort of cardio. The reason why I say this is I see this symbol for like this physical activity that has a lot to do with working out the heart. Oh, I feel like you're going through a period of some sort of heartbreak, and that this is going to help strengthen your heart. So that could be the hiking, but depending on how strenuous the hike is and depending on how hard you go at on the hike, but you could also do, I feel like I'm seeing jump roping. Like try jump roping because then you don't have to go anywhere. If you do it in a gym, then you could do it in air conditioning. I bring that up because it's really, really hot here in California. And then it also feels like allowing yourself, so it feels like the jump rope is actually also related to having childlike joy, allowing yourself to just um, indulge in childlike activities. I feel like there's a connection with Minnie Mouse. I see um, you in like a costume Minnie Mouse, like the characters you see at Disneyland. I see you playing with a Minnie Mouse, and it feels like that's part of the playing with allowing your child, allowing your inner child to play. And there's something about lemonade, drinking lemonade and cooling off, making sure to cool off. Okay. I feel like you are trying to do a lot, and I get this sense of allowing yourself breaks to reflect and sit with what you are going through and what you're working on. And then allowing yourself to kind of focus, allowing that to be a time of focus on what it is that you're working on and focusing on and choosing. Um, because it feels like since you are trying to do a lot, that it feels like you don't get anything done. And it's because you're overloading yourself and overwhelming yourself with too many things. Um, this is gonna, it may seem backwards for you, but it feels like if you allow yourself to just pick like two or three things, focus on those two or three things, you'll actually get to feel a sense of accomplishment, instead of feeling like you're not getting anything done because you're spread so thin. And I feel like that's it. So thank you so much, Aisha, for letting me read for you. I'm just gonna disconnect with your energy. Okay, I feel like I'm gonna do Daphne next. Okay. I see some I see someone on dad's side coming through. And let me just clear this. Okay. It's not on dad's side. It feels like a very masculine energy. It feels like a spirit guide coming through. When I first see it, it just looks like a white silhouette. But then when I ask it to come closer, it actually reveals itself to be like a unicorn. So let's see what this unicorn has to share for you, Daphne. I want to make sure I'm getting your name right. Okay, Daphne. Okay. So whenever I see unicorns, unicorns represent like a very fierce, high vibration energy. Um, Unicorns to me are like the angels, the angels of horses. And horses for me represent this like wild and free energy. When I see unicorns, it represents this wild and free energy, but also being very empowered and fierce in that energy too. And this particular unicorn, it's got so much personality and sass that it just kind of like it's standing up. It's not even on all fours. Okay, so the unicorn says that you've got to bring that sass, honey. You are playing too small. For some reason, you keep playing small. Like you have so much to bring to the table, but you keep playing small. And the unicorn actually says, I don't know why, but she keeps playing small. But actually, I know why she's playing small. Ha 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 ha. So says you're playing small because you're scared. Says you're playing small because you're scared, and then shows me a picture of like a small, a young child, and says that you're scared because you have so much, like it's because of the your relationship with the child. So I don't know if this is like your child, or if there's another child in your life that you're kind of like a role model to, or that you're responsible for, but it feels like you're playing small um, because of your sense of responsibility to this child. And I asked if it's your inner child, and the unicorn is very like, no, it's not your inner child. So, something very physical that you can do to help with this feeling small is you can move your body. And this is a suggestion your unicorn friend is sharing. The first one is to like shake your body, like move around, trot around like a horse, but it actually feels like really stomping your feet and picking up and stepping and picking up and stepping and making like you could walk around your house and take very small steps, but make it very giant and elaborate. So allowing you to move the energy through your body that way. And then it also feels like allowing a lot of self-love and compassion is part of allowing yourself to feel big. The self love and self compassion, it feels like giving yourself a hug. How do we bring self love and compassion in? Um, I feel like it's showing me in color to use a lot of pink. So if you can incorporate pink in your wardrobe, and it could be little accessories here and there. But it also feels like pink flowers, like having a bouquet of pink flowers to help bring that energy into your life. Um, but what it feels like is like a really warm, comforting hug, and then realizing that you are so loved and supported, that you feel the confidence, that you feel empowered to take up space and to be big. And it feels like, so this unicorn is showing me like taking charge, like taking charge and just going for it. Um, just allowing yourself to use the momentum, not build the momentum, because it feels like you already have so much energy built up in you. It's just allowing yourself to channel it and go full force. So it feels like I'm just asking you if there's something in particular that you've been doing that you are holding back on. So what they're showing me, hold on. Okay. So when I asked the question if there's something that you're holding back on, um, what they show me is like a race, like a swim meet. And I don't see you, but I feel like this is supposed to represent you. You just have a swim cap. It's like watching an Olympic swim meet, and you're just uh, powering through. You're just powering through this race. And I don't even get to see the end because it's not about the end. It's simply about the effort and the dedication that you have in the race. So I feel like it's also about remembering that much of it and to not get caught up in what you think the end result is going to be, because it feels like like the message is that winning is not always the goal. Um, I also feel like there's a little bit of like part of the reason why you're having a hard time with being big, why you're really comfortable feeling small, is part of the perception. So it's part of the perception that you have, which is then creating your reality. So I don't know if you're into vision boards, but I feel like it would be beneficial for you to create like a vision board with a lot of inspiring, like a lot of inspiring messages, a lot of inspiring photos, because it feels like you are surrounded by a lot of the things that tell you that you can't do this, and that's a big part of why you stay small. I mean, if we just think about social justice and microaggressions, like we are told, our subconscious is being communicated to through everything that we're around. So if you're in environments that don't reflect you and your culture, um, then you're essentially told, no, you can't do it. So use a vision board to help create the visual that reinforces that you can do it. And I also feel like you need to do a lot of like cranial massage, like a lot of head massage. So it's almost like when you marinate food and you massage the seasoning into the food, that's what it feels like. But that's what it feels like why you would do the massage. So, you can stare at your vision boards and you can massage your head, help yourself relax, because that's where a lot of the pressure lives. Okay, let's see. Okay, so that's it. Daphne, thank you so much for letting me read for you. I'm just going to clear my energy from you. And let's see, I think I have time for one more at least. Oh, Claire, you had a unicorn. Okay. Let's see. Suzanne, if you're still around, I'd love to read for you. So just drop me a comment, let me know that you're still here. And Daphne, I saw your comment about dyeing your hair for the first time. I bleached my hair for the first time maybe a year and a half ago, and my hair felt, my aunt told me, my aunt was like, your hair feels like hay. And I could not think of a more accurate description of like what my hair felt like. So really good, thick, creamy conditioners. Yep. All right, Suzanne. I feel like I see a few people standing in your spirit guide section, and there's one in particular that like is like spiraling around you. So let's see what they want. So this guide looks like a snow owl. And this snow owl, when I see them next to you, is gigantic, like it's bigger than you. And I feel like it's this sort of like watchman energy around you, like it's standing to protect and to guard you. And it feels like a security guard is what it feels like. It feels like this snow owl is a security guard. And it actually feels like when you go somewhere new, it actually feels like the owl is guiding you there, as opposed to like the owl following you where you go. It feels like the owl has a great influence on where you go. It's like it leads you there. And when I see you, I'm wondering why it's guiding you as opposed to the other way around. And it feels like sometimes um, the decision of like if you came to a fork in the road, the decision on which direction to go to can feel overwhelming. And so the owl is that help that helps you commit to a decision. Feels like there's a lot of overthinking when it comes to decisions like that, or when it comes to decisions. It feels like there's a lot of overthinking. Um, and it's not like the kind of overthinking that quickly becomes um, what's the word? It's like it's not the overthinking that quickly becomes like doomsday thinking. It's just this, but there's also this possibility, and there's also this possibility. Like they still feel like very grounded possibilities that you're thinking through. Um, but even those very grounded possibilities sometimes feel like if you were to actually, excuse me, like if you were actually to think through, does that really fit this situation? Is that very likely? Or in your own experience, how much has that happened? It feels like those very grounded possibilities are very easily filtered out. So the owl just supports you with that. And in the same way that there's a lot of thinking associated with decisions, feels like sometimes it can leave you feeling frazzled. So it feels like the owl, not only is it guiding you, but it's also grooming you, grounding you. It's kind of like soothing your energy. And I don't see I don't see you explicitly acknowledge this owl. So it actually feels like maybe you don't notice that it's there, but it almost feels like there is a knowing that this owl exists in your life, even though you haven't seen it. Um, so it feels like even though you haven't connected your experience with it as like directly connecting, I experienced this calming sensation, and it is from this owl. You still know that there's an energy there looking over you and caring for you. And the same way that I see this owl, so I feel like this owl is very flexible. I feel like this is an owl that has been with you throughout your life. Um, I saw it as being very large compared to you, and then I see it shrink and get really small and like go into your shirt pocket. So it feels like this is an owl that really molds itself, is very malleable to whatever the situation is that you need support with. Hmm. And I see you pat your pocket with it. So it's that, again, knowing that it's there, but then not actually like explicitly knowing that it's that, because you're still not looking at it. Okay, so when I ask the owl, how are you? Like, what are you going through? It shows me you, and it seems you're very content. You're very content, you're figuring things out, and you're like, I'm just fine. Um, but even as you show me, or the owl shows me that you are content and you're saying you're content and you're fine, it feels a little shaky. Like, it's almost like you're not fully aligned with that statement that you are fine. Um, there's like just a little bit of out of alignment with that. But it feels like, what are you missing? It feels like, so throughout this whole thing, I do see you by yourself. And it feels like that's because you do a lot of things on your own. And when I ask, what is it that you're missing? What I see you holding is someone's hand. So it feels like having other people in your life, so having friends, having family, having chosen family can be very grounding for you, and allowing them to anchor you is what it feels like. It feels a little cold, and when I see you holding someone's hand, it feels like warmth comes over you. It feels like warmth comes over you, and it feels like you get weighed down, like you're anchored. And then I even see like a deep breath, a deep grounding breath. And that it's almost like when you, okay, so I have this chair at home and it's missing one screw. I don't know what happened to the screw. I haven't had this chair for that long. So every now and then it starts to feel real wobbly. And if I don't tighten the screws right away, it gets like really wobbly and then I can't even sit on it. So when I say it feels out of alignment and a little shaky, it feels like that little bit of wobbliness that starts when the screws get loose. And that's what the energy feels like. So when you hold someone's hand, it feels like that missing screw is replaced and the chair is solid. So it feels like you're solid. And then it feels like, I feel like maybe the isolation is because you've been let down, You've been disappointed by other people or other people hurt you, and so it just feels safer to be alone. But it actually feels like you're able to do more and move more quickly, cover more ground when you have other people in your life. And something I didn't notice before, I thought this was just like a not thing, but everything that I notice is in grayscale. Everything I'm seeing is in grayscale. But then when I start to see more of this with people in your life, everything comes to life. It becomes more colorful. It becomes more vibrant. So not only is it feeling warmer, it's so vivacious. It actually feels like when you have other people in your life, your spiritual connection also comes to life as well. Because I do see you meditating, and it's like you open your eyes, and you're not actually opening your eyes in real life. It's like you're opening your eyes when you're in meditation, and you're surrounded by all of these magical creatures, and you're connecting with them, and they're bringing you so much joy. So, physical, like human connection, is spiritual connection. And also, I feel like there's like a rush, like there's a um, maybe it's impatience, but there's like a rush, like a waiting for things to happen, for things to click, and for things to be pick up the pace. But it feels like that actually creates a block for the spiritual connection, for whatever it is that you are trying to accomplish. And so allowing yourself to forget about the timeline, allowing yourself to just be fully in it and experience it and love it and savor it. um, you'll notice that there's a lot more there than you are letting yourself see, because you're taking attention away from the awareness and putting that awareness on the timeline. Does that make sense? Like, there's so much energy around you, and you're not noticing it because you're so focused on the timeline. That's what I mean. Oh, and then I get this is that's it. So thank you, Suzanne, for letting me read for you. Um, I'm just going to clear my energy. So feel free to drop how any of that connects for you, Suzanne. If you guys haven't joined my mailing list, please join my mailing list. You can get it at my website, chrisellecan.com. And I have some new things that I'm working on that's going to be both in person locally, in person in your area. The only most up to date way that you're going to keep up with it is if you join my mailing list. And then I hope to do more in the embodied gathering. I know I've been saying this for a while, but I really feel like we're getting there this time. So if you guys please join my mailing list. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. I always love to hear from you guys. And I'll see you guys around. See you guys here, same place, next month. And actually, I think I'll just, because I have a few minutes, I'll hang out for like a couple minutes if you guys have any other questions, because Suzanne was asking some really great questions. Oh, Daphne, yes, hair masks are a must. I never went to Ulta before, and I started going to Ulta to buy hair masks, and I love them. And I also have a very sensitive scalp, so I love getting like the hair masks that are special for your scalp. Thank you, Suzanne. I appreciate you. All right, looks like no questions. So you guys have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next month.